join a group. It's amazing to sit and talk with people who have the same problem as you, when there's also there a professional, a good healthy guidance. Yes, that it's an absolute solution to start changing your life for better. My sister at the moment, for example, she is in one group. She has this problem that she's addicted to relationships, so she either needs to jump from relationship to relationship, or she is someone who needs to be in a relationship at all costs, even when things are not going great, just because she hates to be alone. Finally, she, after years and years on going through these patterns of needing to be with someone so badly, she acknowledged there was a problem. She was addicted to people, addicted to love, and she read a book that is called Women Who Love Too Much. And through reading that book, she found there were online group that were joining, and they were talking about addiction to love and to relationships. And yes, it's like she does it, I think, twice a week. It's online, which is great because, you know, sometimes there's nothing in the area where you live. She's getting so many benefits out of that group, and she told me there's 30 people joining there and there's 2 moderators. So it has been an amazing pathway and journey for her to join this group. It's really helping her. And just as my sister moved her as sorry and got out of the couch and started realizing she was addicted to something, and then she read a book, she looked for a group, she went online, she filled up a form, she started attending these group sessions. Now, because she made an active, massive effort, she is seeing the benefits. She's gathering the fruits of the seeds she planted by start being actionable towards her problem, her bad patterns. Yes, it's all about waking up, doing something, be active. Solutions are not going to rain in your head and you just have to grab them. You need to go and look for them, but you need to be 100% sure about it, because otherwise you will give up, you will be lazy about it, you will be calling a phone, someone doesn't reach the phone, and you're like, oh, whatever, that's it, it wasn't for me. No. You need to be stubborn. When you want to change, you need to be stubborn, and you need to look for help until you reach the right help. Sometimes it's not the first group, not the third group. Sometimes maybe you needed to find a psychologist or someone. There's always help out there. You need to reach for the right help, and you need to be active about it, because sometimes the first door is not the right one, and not the second, and not the third, but the fourth. And that's what can change your life, like in ways you would never have imagined before. Find a group that talks about the problematic you are going through right now. So this video is all about people who have to heal their inner child, therefore they had traumatic childhoods. Well, in every single country of the world, probably, or most of them, there are groups that focus on this problematic. Maybe you think they don't exist, but they do exist. You need to research, you need to make your homework, but reach out for any group that is in your area that treats this problematic, or go online. There's also nowadays there's so many resources online. Instead of using internet to look for Instagram or TikTok reels or whatever, that way they think that's an absolute waste of time. Redirect that time for nurturing yourself, which means looking for a group of help. Groups are, for example, probably the most common one is the groups of alcoholics, but there's so many more other groups. There are groups where people who had traumatic childhoods gather together and talk about their experiences. And you know which is the amazing thing about these groups? They have a moderator. What that does mean? They have a person who is leading this group and who is organizing the dynamics of this gathering even if it's online or in person. And that person is a professional. Maybe it's a psychologist, maybe it's a psychiatrist, maybe it's neither of those, but it's someone who has been through the same you're going now. But now that person, even though he has been, for example, through a traumatic childhood, is someone who is successful, who has a functional life, someone who relates to the people in the group, but it's someone who relates from a different place, from the sunshine instead than from the darkness. That person can help you to see, well, if this guy has been able to shift his life, transform his life, then I can too, because the both of us had to pass through very similar negative experiences. So that's the amazing thing of joining these groups of people who have been through the same, but who have a moderator who will stop the toxicity and who will give good, proper, non-toxic advice for anyone who needs help. That's so much better and so much purposeful than just going to talk to someone out there, speak about your problems to someone who is toxic, who is going to guide you horrendously bad, who is going to probably tell you to do things that are, instead of good for you, are the worst things you could possibly do. Also, there are Facebook groups that are absolutely amazing. This is another actionable solution, showing a Facebook group which talks about the problematic you are going through at the moment. For example, me specifically, when I became a mom, I was absolutely overwhelmed. I was sad. I was touching the edge of suffering postpartum depression. It was a very dark moment of my life because I was so lost when I became a mom. It was so overwhelming. And I remember I joined this group online. I didn't have time to go anywhere. You know, when you have a baby, you are, like, moms are the busiest people in the planet. So I guess, so I didn't have time to go anywhere. But I remember I opened my phone, I looked for a Facebook group of moms. And yeah, I joined a group of moms. And that was so amazing. I started publishing there were like 7,000 moms, so I started publishing things like I didn't know how to do, I have questions, and then I had all these 30 comments, maybe 20 comments of moms answering to me different things. Like, it was so amazing to receive all this help. And sometimes I was just writing things like, today I feel in a dark place, today I feel like I'm not a good mom, that I'm not good for my child, today I just don't want to be a mom, I feel in such a gloomy space. I was just writing that, and there were moms reaching out to me, and they were like, it's normal, I was where you are, you're going to be like, they were just, it was amazing. And absolutely amazing, that group. It put my mind at peace so many times. Sometimes I post at 2 a.m. in the morning because maybe my daughter had fever and I didn't know what to do, or my daughter was coughing a lot and I didn't knew very well how to help her. And maybe I was like, before I go to the hospital and I take my daughter out of the house at 3 a.m. in the morning, I try in the group and someone was answering me and giving me help. And there's so much help out there, so many people who want to help you, so many people that want you to be better. You just need to connect with them and find them, because I swear of God that these people are out there to help you, but you need to find them, and you need to find the right people. You need to help yourself, and you also need to find the right people who can help yourself too. It's a community work. Alone you cannot reach anywhere. It's amazing when you want to help yourself, but you also need to work with others to be able to make a big change. Facebook groups are amazing. YouTube videos, of course, we all know this one. These videos on YouTube. Look for help on YouTube videos. You can find so much free guidance. You don't even need to pay a penny, and from your bed you can find solutions. So yes, it's all about prioritizing yourself. I want to add also that Facebook groups, for example, you can post anonymously. That's great, because sometimes I know you just don't want to talk about certain things with your face and your name next to the comment. This moms group I joined, for example, most of the moms publish anonymously, because we talk about very deep things. So that's another thing. If you think you're embarrassed to talk about what's going in your life at the moment, that can be very helpful. Sometimes it's really hard to reach for help, like look for help, because you are scared. And when people are scared, when people feel feared, people get paralyzed, people get stuck. But yeah, there's nothing that is going to benefit you more than oblige you to reach out for help. Speak about what's going on in your life. Don't hold it all for yourself, because that is going to stop you here and it's going to sink you. When you speak to the right people, you will find love, you will find help, you will find care. Don't isolate, expose your problems. Don't feel ashamed of what happened to you. It's not your fault. Expose it, explain it, write it down on paper, write it on your computer, on your phone. Speak to yourself about it. Speak to a psychologist about it. You are not alone. Don't isolate, just connect with human beings. Okay, let's move forward to another solution. Establish a solid connection with your inner child. If you have your inner child trapped, hiding in a dark place, bring it to the surface, connect, interact. And how can you realize if you have your inner child trapped and absolutely forgotten? You will realize because you don't laugh much, because you are stern, because you feel no emotions, not many, you don't feel a wide range of emotions, because you're too serious about life, because you're a control freak. All of those are big signs that your connection with your inner child is absolutely broken. Because if you're in tune with your inner child, you live life more lighter, fresh, you laugh a lot, you have such a positive, joyful attitude towards life. That means you are connected with your inner child. But if you are robotic, that means you absolutely need to go and rescue that poor inner child. For me, for example, start thinking of my inner child as a separate person has helped me a lot in my therapeutic journey. I wouldn't be where I am today if I wouldn't be able to say to my inner child out loud, I am scared. I am going to take care of you. I have a previous therapist also that gave me this exercise to start speaking to my inner child as if my inner child would be sitting in an empty chair. And that really helped me a lot, because I judge myself so much harder and stronger than other people. So for me, the exercise of seeing my inner child as a separate person for me helped me a lot to start judging my inner child. Actually not judge it, like treat my inner child with love, which means treat myself with love and respect. Because me as a mom, I know how I treat my daughter. She's a kid and I treat her with patience, with love. I know she's never doing mistakes on purpose. So understanding all these things, seeing this inner child of myself as someone who is just making mistakes but not on purpose, made me put that high bar I have to judge myself so much lower. See, as of now, I see my inner child as a massive resource for me to help myself. So now I know that interacting with my inner child is an amazing benefit for me, and it's something I can do like without anything from the external world, is using my own resources for my own benefit. So one of those exercises I do to keep my inner child connection, it's sometimes I will go back to things that happened in the past that were traumatic, and I revive those negative experiences, and I feel the emotions that I felt then, but I hug myself and I kiss myself and I treat myself with infinite love and understanding, because I know I was being mistreated and I didn't deserve it. So all I need now is just to be compassionate and loving with myself. So that exercise of going back to those bad experiences and feel what I felt by then and forgive myself, like not forgive because I wasn't doing anything wrong, but like give me in that moment the love I wish I would have received by others. But oh my god, it's so enlightening. For me, all those visualizations of going back to the past help me enormously to start relieving old heavy weight, to start relieving all that stagnant bad energy that was just there, not doing anything done, sinking me. So don't feel afraid to go back and revive the worst situations that you have ever experienced in your life, and see yourself in those situations and give you love. Visualizations in that context, it's just like literally dust gold to yourself. Those activities are deeply transformative. All right, another of these actionable solutions is, okay, I hope people don't misinterpret this, but if you are 18 plus and your parents are toxic, get away from them. We all need to understand when our parents are a bit of a lost case. You know, if you can work and get some money and pay maybe an apartment with a good friend of you, or I don't know, if you find a safe way to put emotional distance from you and the people who continuously hurts your feelings, that it's going to elevate yourself a lot. Always leave though to a better place. It's not escape from your house, escape from your parents, because if you escape, you are going to escape probably to a place that is as bad as the place where you were. You need again to be active, to be prioritizing yourself, and to research and research and research and research. There's million jobs, things you can do. Sometimes some jobs you live in the place where you work, so maybe that can help. But yes, this is just, I give you the advice, of course, to put emotional and physical distance from toxic people. And if it's your parents and if you live with them, it's good to leave the house, but always safety first. Why? Because now if you know you have a bonded inner child and you are going through the process of reparenting yourself, one of the most important things, if you are being that parent that you never had before, is that you take care about your safety, because that's basically one of the biggest roles of parents, provide safety to their kids. So safety always first, safety always first. Go somewhere where it's safe and better. Don't expose yourself to unnecessary dangers. If you go to talk to your parents and you try to reconnect, and you know you acknowledge they have been toxic, but maybe you can talk to them, and maybe you go and you explain them how you feel and how traumatic some things were, and your parents tell you, what are you talking about? You know, all I did for you, I paid your sky trip in 2010 to go to this mountain, to like the end of the course trip to here and there. I paid this and that. Then unfortunately, if your parents tell you that they paid things for you or they fulfill you with the most basic needs, like they did feed you and send you to school every day, if that's their answer to you, exposing that you have been through traumatizing moments, then you're hitting a wall. It is important to understand that if you're hitting a wall, you better just move away from that wall. Your parents, unfortunately, are still immature parents. If that's their take on you opening your heart, you are just talking to immature parents. And it is not your obligation and your role in life to transform your parents. Your parents have to deal with their own life on their own. You look at yourself and lift yourself. Also, the thing is, like, when parents are toxic, they are very manipulative and they manipulate you to do things that do not benefit you and do not take you anywhere. They manipulate you to do things that benefit them or fulfill their own needs. For example, don't leave home because you can be here and you don't have to pay me the rent and I can cook you food. Maybe that parent doesn't want the child to leave because that parent doesn't want to feel lonely or empty. But you, as a child, or not a child, as a person who is 18 or plus, it's not your responsibility that your mom feels lonely if you leave. It's not your responsibility that your mom feels unloved if you go away. She has to deal with that. You have to deal with your own life. Me, personally, when the situation at my house got unbearable for me and I realized with my parents I was not going anywhere in life. They were like, I felt there was so much trauma that my head was absolutely taken. So I'm not going to explain the details because this video will be absolutely endless. But basically, after investigating and a lot of reading and a lot of thinking and researching, I was living in Argentina and I flew to United States. I decided to start working on yachts. So I made courses and then I started working as a chef on yachts. So when I started working on these ships, I was living there and I did this for more than 10 years. And yes, I mean, that's absolutely extreme. Of course, I leave my home country and I start living in these ships traveling around the world. So I couldn't literally be more far away from my family. And you don't need to go in the slightest that extreme, but I just like to explain and show it how you can put distance. And what the great thing about putting distance is that when you are away emotionally from so much chaos and drama, you start seeing things clearly and you start understanding who you are, what do you want for your life, who are you, what makes you happy, what don't, what do you want for your future. Like you start seeing so much clarity and solutions start coming to you because you are in this receptive new era where you are connected with yourself and things connect and align with you. So yeah, it gave me so much clarity, mental clarity, to be able to put that distance. But you can be in your country and you can literally move to a house there and start working wherever, like in the area. You don't need to go as opposite to as drastic as I did, but I just want to say there is always a way, there is always an option, but you need to leave that bed, leave that chair and start looking what you can do to be better. After years, I left home and I started traveling on boats around the world. I remember I didn't feel at home at work when I was in those boats and I didn't even have a home, but I was better and I was every time better and better. And finally, after 12 years of leaving home, I found what I can call now my place in the world. I live in a city that I love. I bought a house, and it's amazing. I live by the beach, by the mountain, with a lot of nature. Yes, I think I would never have been able to find this place if I wouldn't have such an active role into researching and go for my dreams. I had so many up and downs until I finally reached home, and I finally live in a place where I can call home, where I feel safe, and where I am actually raising my beautiful daughter. When you put physical distance from parents or people who are toxic, then it's very important for you to start looking for a mentor, someone that you admire, someone that is on top of you, right? For me, for example, my mentor was my psychologist. Let me tell you that people who help you to fix your mental health, to be better, are you're transforming to your parents in a way. They fulfill that role. My psychologist started taking care of me, and she started telling me, this is dangerous, don't expose yourself here, don't expose yourself there. I was really feeling like she was, in a way, no, she wasn't of course my mom, but like in a way she was acting like a mom. So if you are going to put some distance to your parents, you need to find a mentor, you need to find someone who can fulfill, not replace them. They are your parents and they will always be, but like fulfill that sense of protection and good advice. I have this other video here where I speak all about confidence. So if you're interested in becoming confident and magnetic, please check it.